brace yourself because I got some potential bad news for all of us, including myself. Something I don't want to admit, but I have to because the facts are right before me. And the fact is, I don't think we are going to get Bloodline 2.0 versus Roman's original bloodline, the OG bloodline. I thought for sure that was a no-brainer, especially when he came back at SummerSlam. Had to happen. Had to happen. But now, as I look at the landscape of WWE Bloodline 2.0 versus Roman, versus Cody, versus Randy, versus Kevin Owens. I mean, yeah, that's a good match, but I don't really want to see it. But, as I told you in a previous video, doesn't matter what I want. It matters what TKO and Triple H want, basically, and probably Roman and The Rock. And before we go any further, I'm going to ask you guys to help me out become a full-time YouTuber in commenting below. And to comment below, you get a chance to win this belt. Once I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give the belt away. Why am I doing this? Because I want to be a full-time YouTuber. I want to quit my job and produce wrestling videos day in, day out. I'll do it every single day. I'll stream. I'll be the busiest wrestling YouTuber you've ever seen. All you gotta do is comment below and you get a chance to win this belt, free shipping and everything. But moving along on this potentially, this crazy main event. I still can't believe it. And it seemed, like I said, it seemed like a no-brainer, but I think that's how they're going with this because we only have 8 to 9 weeks before Survivor Series WarGames. In wrestling, that's a very long time. I mean, look at Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed went from forgettable mid-carder to powerhouse that we want to see every single week. In one segment, Bronson Reed was able to take anything negative that has ever happened to him, any poor booking, and just throw it out the window because he destroyed Seth Rollins. And then for 3 continuous weeks, he looked super strong. Everybody was like, wow, Bronson Reed has arrived. And then he gets into like a feud with Braun Strowman, and in 3 weeks, Braun Strowman is as relevant and as important as he ever has been. He hasn't been this interesting since 2017, 2018. Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, in a matter of weeks, elevated themselves to one of the most must-see angles on WWE, and that shows that all it takes is just a couple weeks, and you can do wonders and change everything, flip the script. You think you have the answers, you change the questions, all of that good stuff. However, I think it's a little different with the Bloodline because the Bloodline storyline is so long drawn out, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, so long drawn out and methodical that I just don't think they're going to rush anything. And to get to WarGames, we have a PLE right smack dab in the middle, and that's Crown Jewel. So in reality, we're building towards Crown Jewel with kind of a little bit of back burner storylines getting us to WarGames. And I feel those back burner storylines are actually Cody, Randy, and Kevin, and they're slowly getting them to a point where they can accept Roman Reigns. And that makes sense because I would hate if everybody just suddenly accepted Roman because they hate Solo so much. I get it. You hate Solo. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, but not always, because Roman Reigns was a very bad dude for the last 4 years. So they're slowly getting that ready because Crown Jewel, I think, is actually going to be Roman versus Cody 3. We're not going to save it to WrestleMania, and it's going to happen here. I bet that Solo gets involved, costs Roman the title, says we're even now, and then this is where Roman is like, okay, I'm going to accept help. But he doesn't really have help to accept from, and that's where Cody comes in, because Cody still wants that bloodline to be done, because again, they interfered in his match, so he's like, nah. And then he goes to Randy and Kevin, and they will be taken aback, they won't want to help, but will be a lot more believable now after Crown Jewel for Kevin and Randy to be willing to team with Roman than Sammy and Jay, who've had no seeds planted on this building of trust with Roman, so why would they even help? So after Crown Jewel, we've already have the base, the foundation of how they're all going to come together as one big super team. But the problem is, I don't want that. I want the OG bloodline. But in reality, it wouldn't necessarily make sense right now because of how it's all played out. And yeah, it's just weird. It seems like it's the perfect setup for OG versus 2.0 WarGames, but we're not there. They are not there. We have Jey Uso on his own, Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn fighting for the heavyweight champion, or trying to get into a fight for the heavyweight championship. And it seems like the quickest we can kind of tie a bow on those two storylines would be Crown Jewel. Maybe a Jey Uso Braun Breaker rematch at Crown Jewel, and a Sami Zayn loss to Gunther at Crown Jewel, and then those two could be shifted over to SmackDown. But if that happened, it would only happen if Randy and Kevin Owens completely rejected Cody Rhodes, and then Cody, not having any friends, goes to Raw and says, hey, Jay and Sammy, can I get you on my side to help me out? Because in no world could I see Jey Uso or Sami Zayn really wanting to help Roman unless Cody stepped in and they were helping Cody. And Cody was like, dude, we gotta do something about this because they are just still a problem. That is the only way it could happen, because Jey Uso, he recently compared Chad Gable to Roman Reigns, saying that he was just a horrible leader and very manipulative and just really bad. And Sami Zayn actually kind of said the same thing in regards to Otis, saying, hey, I really want to help Otis become free of Chad Gable, but he has to do it on his own time. I know what it means because I was kind of in a similar situation, referring to himself in the bloodline, because everybody would say, Sammy, you're in with the wrong people, but it wasn't until Sammy came to the conclusion himself that he was able to get away from Roman. And so those two, they have not forgiven Roman, and for them to go help Roman, I just don't see it happening unless they're helping Cody. And both of those guys are not on bad blood, so there's not going to be any interaction unless maybe Jay goes to support Rhea Ripley, and then there's some kind of interaction between Roman and Jay, maybe a little tense, like not a confrontation, but I see you got the belt. Yeah, I got the belt, did it on my own. And then Roman's like, gives him like a nod of approval and then kind of walks away. Maybe that starts the slow burn of them getting back together, but right now it's evident that the whole Cody, Kevin, Randy dynamic is actually starting a build towards WarGames, so Kevin and Randy can get on a team with Roman. And you might be saying, well, what about if there's a fifth member added? Because you can add Hikuleo, who is a Tama Tonga Loa brother. He is signed with WWE, but he's actually been recently added to the NXT roster, probably going to debut on CW, so that's a possibility. And then there's also Zilla Fatu. Zilla Fatu is the real-life son of Umaga. He recently parted ways with who he was wrestling for, so he's available, and he's actually even teamed with Jacob Fatu before on the Indies, but whether or not you include either of them on the WarGames side of Bloodline 2.0, all you gotta do is bring Jimmy back. Jimmy has no beef with Roman. Jimmy can instantly be reinserted alongside Roman Reigns, and boom, now it's Jimmy, Roman, Cody, Randy, Kevin Owens. It would give Jimmy a really good pop. Kind of where it stands, if they don't start something now, just like absolutely this week or next, it just can't happen, because we don't want to rush this storyline also, because it would just feel really cheap if after Crown Jewel, suddenly Roman and Jey Uso are together. It just would feel super cheap. It could happen if it starts right now, but to build it that quick doesn't seem likely, especially because Solo hasn't even gone after Jey. They had one interaction a long time ago, just kind of like a brief, tense face-off, but that was it, and they left him alone, and so I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I did pose this to you guys out there, and I'm going to read two comments right now, see where you guys are standing at. This is Gregory KO 3210. We all want to see the original and real bloodline take out the fake bully thug bloodline and officially end Solo's little gang of thugs. It's past time for it, and we're sick of them. I acknowledge the real bloodline with the real and only tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and I am on board with Gregory KO. I am totally there in my heart, but my head is kind of going with Hydra 2054. As much as we all want it, yep, we're getting so close to Survivor Series to the point where Bloodline versus Bloodline WarGames match isn't going to happen. As unfortunate as it sounds, even for me, the Rogue Bloodline versus Roman, Cody, Randy, and Kevin is what's going to be the match. Triple H has probably seen all the videos online, all the people who want Bloodline versus Bloodline, and he probably wants it too, but unfortunately, Jimmy never returned when he was supposed to. I don't know about that statement right there, but I'm going to just keep reading verbatim, because I think they're just holding Jimmy back, to be honest with you. But I don't know, maybe he is still injured. Sammy was never brought in when he was supposed to, and Jay, let's be honest, he's been way better by himself. And since Triple H has a habit of long-term storytelling, hence why Cody didn't win against Roman in WrestleMania 39, we're most likely going to see Bloodline versus Bloodline match next year. That would be, whew, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see the Bloodline storyline go that longer. I'm already impressed it's gone this long, to tell you the truth, but to go a whole another year with Solo Sikoa at the helm, or maybe even Jacob Fatu, just a Bloodline 2.0 in general, I don't know if I want that, but again, doesn't matter what I want. And I'll be honest, I was kind of done with the Bloodline after WrestleMania 39, and yet some of the best stories came out after 39 with The Rock and everything. So even if I am done with the Bloodline after WrestleMania 41, maybe some of the best stuff's going to happen. I got to keep an open mind. But yeah, wow, to not have the Bloodline versus Bloodline now and wait a whole nother year seems crazy to me. I didn't even think this would be a thought. It seems like a no-brainer, and yet, here we are. It seems very apparent that we're going to have Cody, Randy, Kevin, and Roman versus, maybe Jimmy, versus Bloodline 2.0. And you get a lot of stories out of this, because if they lose, then Randy and Kevin can be super mad at Cody Rhodes for saying, you know what, we should have teamed with them in the first place, and now we're losers, and they turn on him. You have Roman being super upset about the whole situation. They turn on him. Now Cody is at rock bottom, and that's where a hero needs to be sometimes. You can't have a movie where the hero gets everything right and everything always goes for him. At some point, the hero has to be knocked down so he can get back up. And if Cody loses WarGames with his friends and Roman, that would be a knockdown moment. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys and girls think? I know I personally want Bloodline versus Bloodline, but I'm thinking it's not going to happen. What are your thoughts? Where are you at with this whole development in the storyline? Please let me know in the comments below. Get a chance to win the belt. I appreciate every single one of you, and have yourselves a great day.